Yo, what's happening guys? And welcome back to another video. And welcome to Kart Silverstone, where we're competing in the championship for this Silverstone track. I think it's the first round of the championship, first round they're doing. I just thought, why not? We might as well give it a go. I've only been to Silverstone once before, and that was in the Club 100 karts, and that was before the track had really opened, to be fair, so I wanted to give it a go in their own kart, see what it's like. And I also thought it'd be quite good because a lot of the drivers would be practicing for the Silverstone 24-hour next month, I think. So I thought there'll be quite a good few drivers here that'll be practicing. So yeah, the format for this one, this was the heats races. The format was a practice session, which you can see in the background, and then we had 3 heats, and your heats would basically be front, middle, back. You'll have like a similar average starting position to everyone else. So your goal is just to make your way up through the heats, score points. There's no final, so it's just heats, and all your points are added up, and that determines the winner overall. So without further ado, let's get into Heat 1. Before we get into our first heat, let's just run you through a lap of Silverstone. So going down the straight, long straight here, into this fast long left-hander. Carry your speed throughout, into another flat right-hander, into a massive left-hander here. Get as close as you can to the curb. And now going into the first chicane, use the curb on exit here. Now going down the hill, you got a lot of camber on this corner here, into bridge corner. Get another nice exit here. You got another long straight up the hill. And you've got a kind of 90-degree right-hander, nice little tap of the apex there, into the second chicane here, flat out. I like to run this curb on exit here just a little bit. Now into the first hairpin in the last sector, nice and smooth, into the second hairpin here, nice and smooth once again. Now going into the last corner here, set up nicely. Unfortunately tap the curb, we'll lose a bit of time, but that concludes practice, where we actually finished P1. I think we were P1 in practice by about 8 tenths, so I was feeling quite confident going into Heat 1. Now jumping into Heat 1, for this one we were doing rolling starts. Basically you had to stay in formation until the yellow line, and then you could break formation. And we are starting in P11. At this point I did think the inside would be quite advantageous. However, the races we saw at Silverstone, I did notice that you could make good moves around the outside, especially at the start. Now going off the start here, as you can see, we're kind of stuck towards the inside, and everyone's braking quite early, so we're getting tagged a lot about here, a lot of carnage going on. Now going into turn 3, we've got a driver up our inside, and that driver goes on 2 wheels as well. Now we've lost a position there. Can we get it back going into the chicane? We do manage to just about get it back. However, now we are stuck on the outside for bridge corner, and that driver actually gets pushed wide, so we lose even more time and even more positions. Now going up the hill, as you can see, we're going basically like 3-4 wide here. Brake early, didn't want to cause any carnage, but we've got a massive bump from behind, pushes us into all the drivers ahead, and we basically made up 4 positions there. And now I've already got my eyes set on the drivers ahead, looking to make up as many positions as I can. Going into this second hairpin, massive lunge up the inside here into this driver there, No contact made. Now, however, going into the last corner here, we are alongside, and the driver just turns into us and drives himself off. I don't know what they were doing there. Now, I was asking the driver behind to work with me. I think Jasper was behind me right now, and he was happy to work with me here to catch up to the drivers ahead. It is quite beneficial in a race like this, especially when slipstream's so powerful. It's quite beneficial to work together, get someone that can push you along, or stick behind someone and push them along, because at the end of the day you'll be making up time and you'll make up a lot more positions eventually. As you can see, we've caught up to this driver in the red here. He hasn't got a slipstream and we've got his slipstream, so we're looking for a move into this right hander here, get it done nice and easy. Now I'm telling him to come with me. I felt quite quick at this point. I'm just telling him to work with me to catch up to these drivers here. Now, a couple laps later, we caught up to Luke, who absolutely batters that tyre wall there, and we're looking for a move here. Get a nice switch back here. However, he's got the slipstream. We don't have the slipstream, so we kind of go for an audacious move here. Switch to the inside, miss our braking point and overshoot it. And Luke's looking back at me, he's like, what are you doing? Yeah, that was a bit of an audacious one for me. I did get a bit impatient. I felt like I caught them quite quickly and I could get the move done quite easily. However, I should have just waited till the corner after. Now I was just gonna sit in Luke's slipstream down the main straight. It'll help myself catch up to the drivers ahead. You see there, we're just pushing him along. If you're in a race, this kind of race is what you want to do, just push the driver along. However, I felt I was quicker, so I just go for a move the inside. Luke goes a bit wide, so we don't fully get past him. However, going into turn 3, we take a bit of a tighter line, carry a good amount of speed, and we've got through. Now we're asking him to work together to catch up to this driver ahead. So now behind Morris here, got a nice run in him here. Can we get a good run coming out of Bridge? We do get a good run, however we're not in the slipstream. We took back in the slipstream here. We've lost a bit of time there. Can we get him on the exit here? Give him a bit of a tap. Not really intentional. Now going into the first hairpin, we've got a nice run here. Just move it to the inside, get the move done nice and easy. Now we've just got to defend him here going into hairpin 2. We're defending nice and easy, and now I'm telling him to work together with me as we've got a gap. And you can also see on the dashboard as well, you've got 6 minutes left, and he's happy to work with me, he's pointing ahead. A couple laps later, we've caught up to the back of the driver here in the white helmet, looking to get a move done wherever I can. As you can see here, we take a tighter line, gain a lot more time there. He misses the apex by quite a bit. Lift off a bit going into the chicane just so I don't hit the back of him. Now going into Bridge, we've got a nice run. We've got an easy send up the inside. Kind of do miss the apex, but it's fine. Now I'm just telling him to push me down the straight, which he does. Thank you. Now we can catch up to Matt ahead, who's in P2. Unfortunately, Archie in P1's basically drove off, so we're probably never going to get P1. So it's going to be between me and Matt for P2. Now we're looking for any move we can to get past him. Going into the chicane, flat, use the curb and exit. We've got a nice run going into the bridge. Can we get the move done? Unfortunately we can't. However, we do have a nice run coming out the corner. We're sat in his slipstream and we're looking for a move into the right hander. Late on the brakes here, up the inside, nice and easy, into P2. Now as you can see, Archie's basically gone. He's pulled, I'm not sure at this point, probably about 7-8 seconds on us. So yeah, and I also wasn't really trying to defend either, just because I felt the other drivers would catch up. So yeah, just focusing on going forward all the time. Now a couple laps later, we cross the checkered and we come home in P2, which I'm pretty happy considering we started P11. That is a pretty good result. Now jumping straight into Heat 2, once again as we mentioned, rolling start. For this one we were starting slightly further back, we were starting in P14 I think, on the outside. So we should be able to try a move around the outside on this one, see if it works or not. Now as we go here, a lot of bumping, going down the straight. As you can see, everyone's bunching towards the inside. Can we get it around the outside? We make up a few positions, however we get held up by that driver there. And now we're going to switch it to the inside, go into the back of that driver there. We've got a lot of carnage going on. We've got two drivers go off. We're kind of 4 wide here going to the chicane. Can we make it work? Yes we do, just about. And now we've made up a few positions. Once again, just like the first race, quite crucial in the first few corners to make up a good few positions. And once again we're behind Matt, and as you can see, I did feel in this one my kart was lacking a bit in power, but more so was lacking a bit in the fact that it didn't turn right whatsoever. I had to lift going into that chicane there, when in every other kart it was basically flat. And then going to this hairpin here was quite a headache turning. As you can see there, full lock and it wouldn't even turn in. Yeah, I felt like it was lacking a bit, so I was basically just going to use Matt's slipstream to hopefully keep up and catch up with the drivers ahead. As you can see there, I'm basically dropping out of slipstream. However, the one saving grace is that everyone is fighting. And although I'm not confident in the pace of the car, I am confident in my racecraft and ability to overtake. As I get the move done, instantly going into turn 3 there. Run the driver a bit wide, however we did leave him just about enough room. Now behind another driver in red, who for some reason reminds me of Lewis Manley. I don't know if it's because of the suit or what. We get the move done nice and easy going into bridge. Now once again behind Matt, we're going to stick in his slipstream and hopefully follow him for a move on this driver here. Also the move there, try and follow him through, not fully alongside yet, going into the chicane. He doesn't really get the move done. Now out of nowhere comes Luke, almost gets past all of us, however he's on the outside. Now the driver in red comes back up the inside here, nearly gets past us. We have to keep our footing, a lot of loading going on, just because there's a lot of us fighting. Going to the last corner here, get a massive whack from behind, as everyone's fighting behind. And now I'm just telling him, yeah, just to come with me, let's stop fighting amongst ourselves and let's make some more positions up. Now another one saving grace is that Jasper, who's in P2 right now, is defending, so hopefully we can get ourselves up there and in the fight. Now once again behind Matt, still trying to get past this driver in the Lando Norris helmet. Good run out of the chicane there. Matt's going up the inside, I'm just going to bump him through a little bit just so we can get past as well. And that's how you do it, nice and easy. Now I'm not going to overtake him, I'm just going to push Matt along, use the slipstream to help me and help him catch up to the drivers ahead. Now as you can see, coming out of this corner there, haven't got the run coming out with this car, going into the chicane after like lift, just because the car wouldn't turn in whatsoever. Going into this right hander here, had to fully try and use the brakes to turn the car, but I was slowing down so much that it felt quite wrong. Now, as you can see, Jasper's still defending ahead. Just want to stick with Matt here, and hopefully we should be able to make up a few more positions. Now, a few corners later, we've dropped slightly out of the drivers ahead, slightly out of the slipstream. However, Matt goes up the inside of that driver in the red there. Does not make it work. However, this does allow me to catch up, and now we're right on the back of the drivers ahead. Looking for a move here. Decide to get a good run going to this corner here. Everyone's going to go to the inside. We get another good run going to this corner, get a very good exit, pull up alongside Matt. Over these drivers here, I'm not sure what they're doing. One's turning in and one's like going for a gap that's not there. Go around the outside there. However, as you can see, I have no idea what they're doing. Just, yeah, exactly, just fully go around the outside of both of them. And now I'm just telling Matt to come with me, telling the other drivers just to come with me. Let's just stop squabbling amongst ourselves, unless, yeah, look, we've still got about 7 minutes left in the race. Let's just stop fighting like it's the last lap of the World Championship or something. Yeah, as there's more points on offer if we can get it done. However, a couple laps later, we've got Matt who goes for a move up the inside here. Just about carry it around the outside. Going into this corner here, tries to get a run on us here. Keep it towards the middle, and we get a nice run coming out of the corner, and we fend him off. Now, a few laps later, the driver in P1's basically gone. I've kind of dropped the drivers behind as well. Just want to say it's time to mention the fact that how good these screens are on these karts. It gives you all this information, gives you how much time you have left, gives you stuff like your last lap, tells you what position you are, tells you who's in front of you, tells you who's behind you, tells you the gap of the kart in front, the gap of the kart behind, so you don't really need to look back if you've got a driver that's like a second behind you, for example. Yeah, in general, I thought it helped me quite a bit, and also in practice and quali, it tells you your sector times as well. So if you try something different in a certain sector and it works out, you can know by looking at the screen. As I mentioned, that the screen is basically freezed on us. However, we do bring it home in P2. P2 from P14, that's not bad. We've had 2 P2 so far. Let's see how we get on in Heat 3. Now, jumping into Heat 3, we've got our front starting heat in this one, starting in P3. And at this point, me and Archie had added up the points just to see where we stand going into this heat, see if we need to go for any silly moves or not. I think I was standing on top, a couple points ahead of Archie and Henry Shino in second. I think they were tied in second, both of them. And then I think it was Matt in fourth. So I just needed to make sure I finished only one position behind one of those drivers, just so I don't lose the win, as they can also get a fastest lap as well. So starting off here, going into turn 1, this driver brakes quite early, kind of going to the back of him there. We do lose one position despite starting on the inside. However, we'll make it back up going on the inside of that driver there, and that other driver goes wide, which gives us another position. Now we're up into P2. We've immediately got our eyes set on the leader ahead, looking to get the move done wherever we can. We've got a nice run coming out of that corner there. Tucking down, trying to get any slipstream we can. As we see Archie behind us. I think we'd basically decided before the race, since we both had our front starting heats, just to work together when we get to the front, not to do anything silly, because we are both fighting for the podium and the win overall. Yeah, we just work together and then we can fight. Let's go into the second hairpin, go for a bit of a lunge there, get the moves done, nice and easy. RT also follows us through. Yeah, and now we're just gonna work together, try and go forward. And now Archie, I think he felt his kart was quicker. He felt he had the pace, so he just signalled to me that he was gonna go down the inside. I don't fight it, try not to waste any time. And I'm just gonna sit behind him, sit in his slipstream, push him along. If we're going into turn 3, Archie doesn't realise that his kart can't turn left. Just like how mine couldn't turn right in the other race, Archie's can't turn left in this one. He didn't realise it until then. Now skipping on a few laps, as you can see, we've managed to pull about a 10-second lead. I just got my head down, stopped messing about, put in the laps, and yeah, we've managed to pull about 10 seconds. Now we're going to go on to one of our fastest laps of the race. I think we've done like 3.9s back to back, but this was like one of my fastest. So yeah, going into turn 1, nice and smooth, get to the apex. Into turn 2, carry your speed. Don't really go as wide as some of the other people going into turn 3. Hit the apex nice and smooth once again. Now going into the chicane, you only want to use the last curb, tag the middle curb, which wasn't too bad. Going into bridge corner, once again, brake late, nice and smooth, hit the apex. Now up the hill. This is actually part of the old F1 track. Going into this 90-degree right-hander, once again nice and smooth, into the chicane, keep it flat, use that curb and exit, into the first hairpin, once again nice and smooth, got on the throttle so early, into the second hairpin, which was a bit of a weird one. It was kind of on a hill. Going to the last corner here, just set it up for a nice exit, get a really nice exit coming out of that corner there, and we get it done. So that is one of our fastest laps. However, for some reason later on in the day, in the endurance, we went about 2 seconds quicker than we did here. As we skip on towards the end of the race here, we managed to take the win. I think we took the win by about 15 seconds as the screens froze. Took about 15 seconds. And then with that win, I think we also took fastest lap by about 9/10 or maybe a second. And we also took the overall win for the day. I think it was me in P1, Henry Trina in second, and then Archie Snell in P3. But yeah, that's it everyone. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. I'll be getting a lot more content out for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.